In 1986, a severe drought dropped the Sea of Galilee to its lowest level in decades. Two brothers walking along the exposed mudflats saw the outline of a wooden hull emerging from the sediment. They had just found a 2,000-year-old fishing boat, the same type of vessel the disciples of Jesus would have sailed. This is the story of the lake that has barely changed since the Gospels described it. The Sea of Galilee is not technically a sea. It is a freshwater lake in northern Israel, roughly 21 kilometers long. But it is arguably the most theologically dense body of water in the world. The Gospels mention it constantly as the scene of calmed storms, miraculous catches of fish, and the base of operations for a ministry that would reshape human history. Let us start with the boat because it is one of the most astonishing archaeological finds of the 20th century. In January 1986, brothers Moshe and Yuval Lufan, members of Kibbutz Ginosar on the western shore of the lake, were walking across the newly exposed mudflats during the drought. Moshe noticed an oval outline in the mud. They called the Israel Antiquities Authority. What followed was an extraordinarily careful excavation. The waterlogged wood had to be kept constantly wet during the dig, sprayed with water around the clock, while archaeologists worked in the summer heat to free the boat without destroying it. Radiocarbon dating and associated pottery dated the boat to between 100 BC and 70 AD, squarely within the first century world of the Gospels. The boat is 8.2 meters long and 2.3 meters wide. It was built using at least 12 different types of wood, a patchwork that suggests a working vessel that was repaired many times over its life, beloved and well used. It would have been rowed and sailed, large enough to carry several people across the lake. The boat is now permanently displayed in the Yigal Allon Museum at Kibbutz Ginosar, preserved in a solution that hardened the ancient wood. It is commonly called the Jesus Boa, not because there is any direct connection to the gospel accounts, but because it is the right type, the right period, and the right place. It is the most tangible link we have to the world of the Galilean fishermen. Now, the lake itself. The Gospels describe it with striking geographical precision. In Matthew 14, Jesus walks on its water toward the disciples' boat. In Mark 4, a sudden storm nearly swamps the vessel. In John 6, Jesus feeds 5,000 people on its eastern shore. In Luke 5, a miraculous catch of fish drives Peter to his knees. Every one of these accounts assumes a specific, real geography, and that geography still exists. The northern and western shores of the lake are dense with archaeological sites that the Gospels name directly. Capernaum, which we will cover in its own episode, sits on the northwestern shore. Magdala, the hometown of Mary Magdalene, sits just a few kilometers south. In 2009, construction workers breaking ground for a hotel in the modern town of Migdal accidentally exposed a first-century synagogue floor. The Magdala stone found there, a carved block depicting a 7-branched menorah, dated to the Second Temple period, is now considered one of the most significant Jewish artifacts found in the region. It shows that Magdala had an active synagogue in the precise era the Gospels describe. Bethsaida, named in the Gospels as the hometown of the disciples Philip, Andrew, and Peter, has been identified with a site called Etzel, north of the lake. Excavations led by Rami Arav of the University of Nebraska have been ongoing since 1991. They found a well-stratified Iron Age and Second Temple period city with evidence of a fishing culture including net weights and fishing hooks. Even the weather the Gospels describe is accurate. The Sea of Galilee sits in a basin surrounded by hills, and local meteorology produces sudden violent storms when cold air from the mountains funnels down onto the warm lake surface, exactly the kind of storm described in Mark 4:37, where waves were breaking over the boat so that the boat was already filling. Modern meteorologists and sailors on the lake confirm this still happens today. Josephus, the first-century Jewish historian, wrote glowingly about the lake in his Jewish Wars. Its water is sweet and agreeable to drink, its shores fertile, its fish numerous. He even describes the lake's fish as unlike any others in terms of flavor, a detail that reads like a travel writer rather than a military historian, and one that matches the lake's reputation today. A drought revealed a boat, Excavations keep finding towns the Gospels named. The fish still run. The storms still arrive without warning. The Sea of Galilee is one of those remarkable places where the biblical text and the physical world line up with unusual clarity. Join us next time as we leave the water and climb the most important mountain in the Bible.